Since today we're doing the post-spring break book haul, I figured I'd also do my spring break book review sesh. So we're going to talk about a few books that I read over spring break, which would be The Cabin by Natasha Preston. She's a Wattpad writer. If you haven't checked her out and you're not sure if you want to buy her books, you can definitely go on Wattpad and check some of her stuff out and see if it's something you would like. Also in this haul are going to be Did I Mention I Miss You by Estelle Mascane, Cracked Up to Be by Courtney Summers, Meant to Be by Lauren Morrill, and Better Than Perfect, which was formerly titled Wild Cards by Simone Elkels. So, as always, all of these links for Barnes & Noble, Thrift Books, and Amazon will be in the description below, and I think I might do all of the non-spoileries first, and then we'll get into the spoilers just that way so you guys don't have to skip around a lot if you haven't read any of these. So, The Cabin I gave an 8.7 out of 10. I'm such a fan of Natasha Preston's work. She does a really good job messing with your head and having these kind of horror type books that I can't normally get into because they're just not my thing, but for some reason the way she writes them is just really appealing to me. The Cabin did it again. It was really great. Things you didn't kind of see coming at the last second, and just really well written with like undertones of romance. So definitely a great book. Did I Mention I Miss You is the third book in the Dimily trilogy, which stands for Did I Mention That I Love You. So this book, in particular, I gave an 8.3 out of 10. I really enjoyed it. It was a really great conclusion to this trilogy. I haven't been able to get my hands on it for a while, so like I was really excited. The premise of this series is this girl, Eden, moves in with her dad's new wife and her 3 sons. And as you can imagine, one of the sons is her age, and so they end up falling in love, and of course, drama ensues. And so that's the plot of the first book, so can't really talk about the third one without really spoiling everything that happens prior till then, but I can definitely say that I really enjoy these books. They're a little cliche at some points, but they're definitely well written. The characters are fun to read about, and like when they frustrate you, it's in a relatable way. Like there were things in this book where I was like, Eden, why are you doing this? Why are you being difficult? But like also her emotions were totally understandable, and if I were in her position kind of thing, I wouldn't do the same. So definitely a really good series I would totally recommend. Next up is Cracked Up to Be by Courtney Summers. I gave this book a 7.8 out of 10. The only other work of Courtney Summers that I've read is All the Rage, which I really, really did enjoy, and my friends Ariana and Leanne, who also read it, really loved it as well. It was a really good book. She definitely attacks a lot of really important themes and a lot of things like rape culture that like are really important and really upsetting in the fact that they persist. So this book was definitely good. I had a hard time with it just because I was really frustrated a lot of time, and what I expected to happen did not happen a lot. But it was really well written and definitely an important plot and a story that I think is something that happens every day in some ways, and definitely a story that I think needs to be told. So definitely a really good read. Anything by Courtney Summers, I'm sure, is really great. I love her writing. Next we have Meant to Be by Lauren Morrill. I gave this book a 7 out of 10. I liked it, but it wasn't my favorite kind of thing. It had a little bit of a the Juliet Club type feel, but it just, there were a lot of things that really frustrated me, that were a little too cliche, kind of some overdone little tropes that weren't big themes, but they were just present a lot. And the characters themselves just didn't seem very mature to me. They were kind of frustrating as protagonists and stuff. But I did enjoy the ending. It was cliche, but it was also like a really nice kind of everything kind of coming together, and just kind of something to like make you smile, and kind of just a quick read that'll, you know, brighten your day a little bit. Finally, for this review chunk, we have Better Than Perfect, which was formerly titled Wild Cards by Simone Elkels. Sorry. I gave this book an 8.4, and I really, really liked it. It kind of takes this stereotypical couple where the girl is kind of everything, all-American, everybody loves her, she's popular, she's good at everything, and this bad boy who nobody really knows anything about except for these rumors about the terrible things that he's done. And Simone did a really great job with this book of taking that stereotype and kind of flipping it on its head and like just crafting this wonderful story out of it. So the girl who's like this all-American is on the football team, which is, you know, a very nice change that I really enjoyed reading about and reading through the story and how that affected the dynamic. And so this female protagonist's older sister, who kind of up and disappeared years ago, shows back up and moves in with them with her son and her stepson, whose father is overseas because he's in the military. And so the older son, of course, the stepson, is the love interest, and his mom passed away a few years ago, and we don't really know a whole lot about him other than like he used to play football, but he doesn't anymore for some reason no one knows, and he's kind of angsty and still, you know, kind of really upset and dealing with things and doesn't really want to be there, but like he has like a big heart, you know, your stereotypical bad boy who's not actually a bad boy once you get to know him. And so this story just did a really good job of bringing those two characters together in a believable way and kind of the way everything fell into place. I enjoyed this a lot more than I thought I would. Like, I picked it up and I was like, okay, I'm gonna read this. Like, it looks like it might be decent, and I just want like a nice romance because I had just read The Cabin by Natasha Preston, and I was like, so I just needed something to kind of like calm all my feels. And it actually ended up being so much better than I anticipated, and I was pleasantly proven wrong. So that's going to be it for the spoiler-free section. Go ahead and check out those links below if you are interested in any of those books. Now we're going to get into the spoilers, so duck out. My friend totally gave me this box of Girl Scout cookies that I said I wasn't going to eat, but there are 2 left, so we know how that worked out. Okay, I think they're gone. So, as far as The Cabin is concerned, wow. I mean, there were some moments when I thought maybe Megan was being a little sketchy, but like for her to actually have been the one to have done it all out of revenge was kind of insane. And I was so glad it wasn't Blake, because I was going to be really mad if they made it like the obvious, the one who like couldn't even defend himself. And he was, that was just not going to fly. I really liked this book. Natasha Preston always surprises me with how much, like, I go into her books like, oh, I'm going to like this. But then I always like it a lot more than I thought that I would, even though I thought that I would like it. So, definitely props to her. I definitely liked the characters in this. I liked their determination, even though, like, I was kind of terrified and on the edge of my seat. Like, I was reading, like, what are you doing? No, I mean, like, yes, but why? Why must you try me like this? Like, you're scaring me. I don't want you to die right now. So, and it was definitely a really, like, sad, obviously, because not only were these 2 friends the only ones who died, but they'd had friends who died before the book even started, which, like, I don't know if they mentioned that and I just didn't pick up on it. But I didn't realize that until like halfway through the book, and that was kind of crazy because then you realize like this character, like this is just bringing them back to that point of like the grief and everything before, and I can't even imagine like Courtney all this time. I mean, she probably felt guilty. I know, like, even though it's like not anyone's fault, like if you're in the position, like you're always gonna feel like you hold some responsibility. So next up is Did I Mention I Miss You? Now, like I said, I read the first 2 books a while ago, so I was so excited when I realized that this had come out and I finally like had the money and stuff to like get a hold of it, and it was so good. I was really mad at first at Tyler for like not calling and like being gone for a year. I hadn't anticipated that it would be that long, and I was just really frustrated because I shipped them so much, and she was dealing with so much bullshit, and he was just gone. Like, what? And her father, I wanted to murder. Like, oh my goodness. Parents treating their kids like crap just grinds my gears like nothing else. But after a little while, I kind of like understood that like Tyler had been like doing what was best for him, and like seeing how much it had changed him and like helped him grow and stuff was just really great, and I supported it. And then I was like, okay, Eden, like time to forgive him so you can get back together, which like when they did, I was so happy. Oh, like I've been waiting for them to like have their like happy ending since forever, and like they've just had so many roadblocks, a lot of which are like of their own making, but also like the whole stigma, which I don't totally understand because they're not related, so I don't get why everybody's freaking out. Like, this is not the only story of its kind. But and also like with their family not approving and just like circumstances, like I don't know, it was just really nice to see them like, and now they have their future like figured out, and it's not like anything that they're like gonna probably change their mind about. Like, they're so in like what is so right for them. They're in like the place where they're best gonna be able to like find themselves and like become the people that they're meant to be. And I'm like just so happy at the way that the book ended. And Rachel and Snake, I ship that, but definitely such a good book. So glad that it's finally out, and such a good series that I'm glad I read, even though at first I was skeptical just because it seemed like one of the ridiculous kinds, which I mean, I guess it is kind of ridiculous, but like, I'll accept it. Next up is Cracked Up to Be by Courtney Summers. Now, like I said, I did give this book a 7.8. I was really conflicted because a lot of times it just frustrated me and it felt like it drug on for a long time, but also when you're dealing with mental illness, and especially in a case like this where there's guilt and just such traumatic experiences, that can take a long time. So I don't know if it's so much like the actual time frame or just the way that it was written, but like also that's kind of necessary. So I don't know that that takes away. That's just like something that as I was reading I was thinking about. I definitely really loved the way the main character was an unapologetic bitch, because we have so many times where people just like change themselves because of what other people say, and that's not to say that you should be a terrible person or anything, but it's really nice to see people who are gonna continue to be themselves despite what the people around them say. Like, if they don't want to change themselves, they don't have to. And it's especially in like a female character, like the bitchy cheerleader trope is just like so overdone, and it's always the antagonist. So for it to be our main character was really refreshing. You know, I don't know, because with this book it's one of those where I'm not sure that I really liked it, but it's got such important themes, and it's well written, and it's, I think, accurate to the experiences involved with those themes. So I did enjoy this book a lot, even though it has some things that I'm not sure about. Like, I think the book itself is really good and really vital, especially at a time like now in our society. Next is Meant to Be by Lauren Morrill. So, I don't know, this book just really frustrated me because it was like good, but then there's something like ridiculous would happen, and the MTB stuff was just, and I don't know, I didn't like small aspects of it, and a lot of little things that would happen, and like oh, she saw him with a beautiful girl, and she's his cousin. Like, I'm just so tired of that. I'm so tired of girls seeing the guy with a beautiful model, and it's always their relative. I don't know, but it was a really good book. I enjoyed the characters. I really liked seeing the main character grow up a lot, because she kind of had all these like fantasies and like kind of childish ideas, I feel like, that had just like stuck with her at the beginning, like meant to be, and things incorporated with stuff like that. And then by the end she'd realized that like that stuff wasn't important and wasn't really relevant in her adult life. And I don't know, I really liked the character growth, and I love like a cute little read, and it really did remind me a lot of the Juliet Club, like a lot. The way they're like in another country and he gets on her nerves and drives her crazy, and just, I don't know. I thought it was a good book, and while I was reading it, there were some points where I was like, do I even want to finish this? I'm just kind of done with this character, and I don't really see this plot, like right now it's not doing it for me. But by the end I was really glad that I had kept reading, because it was a satisfying ending and it was really cute. So I was a fan. And last but not least, Better Than Perfect, formerly titled Wild Cards. I loved this book so much, and him being a killer football player and like not telling anyone because he wouldn't play without his mom was like wonderful and beautiful, and like him showing up at the football camp, and oh my god, the ex-boyfriend being like, oh shit, like he's the famous football player. Oh, it was so satisfying. I wish it would have been like a longer scene just to get more of that, because I have never been waiting for something and so satisfied in my entire life. But I was really upset that the coach was like my player and like didn't treat him like his. What? Why? No, love him. I really liked the dynamic that her sister brought to the table. I loved him and the little kid and like being his brother and stuff. And when he left him after promising him that he would be his brother forever, I was so angry. Like, what? Are you trying to make me want to kill a character that I can't scream at? But above all, the ending was so satisfying and a little bit ridiculous at some points. Like, I liked the kind of like walk to him, and like that he got all of her family and friends involved and stuff, and like him joining the football team like while she wasn't there. And like when he was like, well, my girlfriend is captain, and I was like, yes. But like when he got the famous female football player to like come to her, I was like, okay, this is a little over the top. This is just a bit much. But also, like, I guess if you were in that position and like women are just not in that field and you want to encourage young girls, I could see her being more willing than not. And like sending the tapes, it was so cute, and it was so perfect, because it wasn't just like we're gonna pretend like this didn't happen, or like we're gonna go back to the way things were, instead of like, trying to make a change and stuff. And it was awesome to see him like realize that like this is what's important, and like his mom would want him to be playing football to be happy, and like if he wanted to be happy with her, they could play football together, and like, it was so good. Like I went in thinking this book would be mediocre, and I love it so much. Like, I did not expect this. I was not ready. My heart did not know that it was about to have such an outpouring for this book, but here it is. So that's it for today. Again, all the links will be below. Check them out, guys. I promise they're really good.